Black Sap Magic is inspired by something most of us can relate to some degree: addiction to social media. But don't get me wrong, this is not explicitly about social media at all. Black Sap is featured in my book, The Tides of Niem, a high fantasy gang thriller, and takes place in a somewhat medieval, sort of steampunk, maybe diesel punk kind of world. And let me be clear, there are no social media platforms in Niem, but this magic system is derived from what it feels like to be in a world that's more interconnected than it ever has been before, and how that experience can break people. In this video, I'll get into the inspiration for Black Sap Magic, discuss how it works in Niem, and finally tease out some of the ways that characters are affected by Black Sap in the story. Have you ever become so drawn into something on social media, a personality, a movement, a lifestyle, that you start to feel detached from your own life? Sometimes someone else's life feels so real, so close to us, just because of the way that we can walk through their footsteps at any moment. When I go down these rabbit holes, I almost feel like I'm losing a grip on who I am fundamentally, and replacing my sense of self with this constructed idea of somebody else. Enter the Black Sap. Black Sap is an ancient material that's mined from the earth like oil. On its own, it's a particularly useless substance, not able to be consumed for food or burned for energy. But when a conscious being sleeps near the Black Sap, infusing it with their sleep and leaving them drowsy and sleep deprived, the material takes on unique and magical properties. Its primary magical ability is to bind like substances together. When it comes to physical substances, it's like a superpowered adhesive, making an unbreakable bond between bricks of the same composition or wooden members. The founders of Niem used Black Sap to build the city, crafting impossibly long bridges and indestructible buildings knit together by Black Sap mortar. When sleep-infused sap is consumed by living beings, a different form of bonding occurs, something called going sap-headed or being in a sap high. In this state of mind, the user becomes acutely aware of the internal world of others around them, so much so that they actually feel the emotions of the surrounding people. There's a visual cue in the form of swirling colors that emerge from others, a different color for every type of emotion. There's a honey-colored feeling of pleasure, a lilac anticipation, a crimson confidence. The police force of Niem, called the Exerters, use the Black Sap in small, concentrated doses called beads as a protective measure when on a dangerous case. Experiencing the feelings of others allows the Exerters to make judgment calls about people's honesty, notice fidgety or nervous behavior, but most importantly, it gives them a clue if someone is about to make a sudden movement. Sap reveals electric pulses through others' bodies right before they act, a potentially life-saving insight. Now, in order to take Black Sap without falling into addiction, one must have a strong sense of self. It clouds the identity to experience the internal world of others, so many avoid sap altogether. Those who fall prey to addiction will become obsessed with other people. They'll seek out particularly intoxicating individuals. Those who are confident, calm, lustful, comfortable in their wealth, and perch outside their homes, under windowsills, and just below the nets that separate Lower Niem from the upper city. Their mouths become black as tar, which earned them the name Dark Mouths. When addicts run out of sap, which can be an expensive drug, they resort to licking the walls for any morsel of black sap they can manage. The poorly mixed mortar of the lower city drips incessantly, allowing the residents to literally lick away the city because of their addiction. Black Sap is center stage in the Tides of Niem. We follow a drug lord called Exandri, who is more a myth than a man. He has amassed a mountainous wealth by the sale of the drug, and he mysteriously never sleeps so that no one can steal his sleep and infuse it into sap. We also follow Ellison, a researcher determined to reduce the number of dark mouths in the city. She carefully designs the sap beads that are delivered to the Exerts Force, while also doing whatever she can for the impoverished lower city. But Ty Kosser, a new recruit to the Exerts Force, a young Nemish man determined to make a life for himself in the upper city, one who swore to never take the Black Sap after he saw it destroy his father, must now go undercover, joining Khal Ixandri's ranks. And yes, holding firmly to his identity the best that he can, as the Black Sap, Ixandri, and Niem itself try to tear it away. The Tides of Niem is in its final drafts, and I plan to release it right on the tail end of Blink of the Four Winds later this year. If you'd like to learn more about this book, check out my website. And if you'd like to go deeper into Blink of the Four Winds, head on over to my Patreon, where I have exclusive videos and content about that series. Interestingly, this is not the only magic system that I made out of social media addiction. I'll make another video sometime about my magic from my Sky Pirate story, a system where a young boy hears every sound in the entire world all at once. It's relatable, right? If you enjoyed that video, you probably want to check out my bone magic and glass wielding videos to learn more about my magic systems. Support my books and educational work on Patreon. Subscribe for more videos that I hope will inspire and uplift you. Godspeed.